Today we're diving into the world of manipulation tactics. Now you might be thinking, manipulation? That's something that happens to other people, not me. But let me tell you, manipulation is far more common than you might realize. It often flies under the radar, disguised as something else entirely. We're talking about those subtle, sneaky tactics that people use to get their way, often at your expense. Maybe it's a partner who makes you feel guilty for saying no, a coworker who takes credit for your ideas, or a friend who always manages to turn the conversation back to themselves. Manipulation can take many forms, and it's crucial to be able to recognize it. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped to recognize and protect yourself from these covert techniques. We're going to pull back the curtain, shine a light on these manipulative tactics, and give you the tools you need to take back your power. Let's talk about emotional manipulation. This one's a real heartbreaker, folks, because it preys on your emotions, your empathy, your desire to please, your fear of conflict. Emotional manipulators are masters at pushing your buttons. They know exactly what to say to make you feel guilty, obligated, or even scared to disagree with them. Think about a time when someone made you feel bad for not doing something they wanted. Maybe they sulked, gave you the silent treatment, or even threatened to withdraw their affection. That, my friends, is emotional manipulation in action. They're using your emotions as leverage to get what they want. Here's the thing about emotional manipulation. It's often subtle. It can be disguised as concern or love. An emotional manipulator might say things like, "If you really cared about me, you would," or "I'm just doing this because I love you so much." They might even shed a few tears to really sell it, but don't be fooled. These tactics are designed to make you feel responsible for their emotions, which is a surefire way to keep you walking on eggshells. You start second-guessing yourself, wondering if you're being too sensitive or if you're actually the one in the wrong, and that's exactly what the manipulator wants. They want you off balance, questioning your own judgment. They want you to feel like you have no choice but to give in to their demands. But you do have a choice. Recognizing emotional manipulation is the first step to breaking free from its grip. So, pay attention to how people make you feel. Do you feel drained, obligated, or like you're always walking on eggshells around them? If so, it's time to set some boundaries. Remember, you have a right to your own feelings and opinions. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for having them. You deserve to be treated with respect, not manipulation. Let's talk about gaslighting, one of the most insidious forms of manipulation. This tactic is all about distorting your reality, making you question your own sanity. It's like someone slowly turning up the heat until you don't even realize you're boiling. A gaslighter will deny your memories, contradict your experiences, and try to convince you that your perception of events is completely off. They might say things like, "That never happened, you're imagining things," or "You're being crazy." Here's an example. Let's say you and your partner have an argument and they say something hurtful. Later, when you try to bring it up, they flat out deny it ever happened. They might even accuse you of being too sensitive or making things up. Over time, this kind of behavior can really mess with your head. You start to doubt yourself, your memories, even your own sanity. You might even start to withdraw from friends and family who could validate your experiences because you're afraid they won't believe you either. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse, and it's designed to keep you off balance and under the manipulator's control. They want you to rely on them for validation because they know that a mind clouded by doubt is easier to manipulate. So how do you know if you're being gaslighted? Pay attention to your gut. If something feels off, if you feel like you're constantly questioning your own reality, it's time to take a step back and reassess the situation. Talk to someone you trust, someone who can offer an outside perspective. Keep a journal of your experiences so you have a record of what's really happening. And remember, your feelings are valid. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. We've all met them, the charmers, the smooth talkers, the ones who could charm the birds out of the trees. They're likable, charismatic, and they know how to make you feel good. But beware, because charm can be a powerful tool for manipulation. Think about it. When someone flatters you, makes you feel special, or showers you with attention, it's natural to want to reciprocate. We're hardwired to be drawn to people who make us feel good, and that's exactly what the manipulator is banking on. They use charm as a way to gain your trust, to lower your defenses, and to make you more susceptible to their influence. They might compliment you excessively, offer you gifts, or go out of their way to do favors for you. Now, it's important to note that not everyone who is charming is a manipulator. But when charm is used as a tactic to get something from you, that's when you need to be wary. Here's a classic example. Let's say you have a coworker who's always singing your praises, bringing you coffee, and doing you favors. You think, wow, this person is so nice, they must really like me. Then, when it comes time for performance reviews, they ask you to put in a good word for them with the boss, even though they haven't really earned it. That's manipulation in action. They've used charm as a currency to buy your favor, to get you to do something you might not otherwise do. So, how do you protect yourself from being charmed into submission? First, be aware of the tactic. Recognize that charm can be used as a tool for manipulation. Second, pay attention to your gut. If someone is laying it on too thick, if their compliments seem insincere, or if their actions don't match their words, trust your instincts. You might be surprised to learn that silence can be just as powerful a manipulation tool as words, maybe even more so. We're talking about those strategic pauses, those pregnant silences that hang in the air, creating tension and discomfort. Master manipulators know how to wield silence like a weapon. They'll use it to make you squirm, to fill in the blanks with your own insecurities, and to ultimately concede to their demands. Think about it. You're in a negotiation, and you've just laid out your terms. Instead of responding right away, the other person goes silent. They just sit there staring at you, maybe with a slight smirk on their face. What goes through your mind? You start to doubt yourself. You wonder if you've asked for too much, if you've misplayed your hand. The silence becomes deafening and you find yourself wanting to fill it with something, anything, to break the tension. That's exactly what the manipulator wants. They want you to crack, to start offering concessions before they've even had to ask. Silence can also be used to guilt you into submission. Let's say you've set a boundary with someone, and they respond with stony silence. They don't argue, they don't get angry, they just go quiet. The message is clear: you've upset me, and now I'm punishing you with my silence. This tactic can be incredibly effective because it plays on our innate desire for connection and harmony. We don't like it when people are upset with us, and we'll often go to great lengths to avoid conflict. But remember, silence is just another form of communication, and it can be just as manipulative as any other tactic. Don't let someone use silence to control you or make you feel guilty. Let's talk about passive-aggressive behavior, the art of indirect communication and veiled hostility. This one's a real head-scratcher because it's often disguised as something else entirely: concern, helplessness, even humor. Passive-aggressive people avoid direct confrontation. Instead, they express their anger, resentment, or frustration through subtle digs, backhanded compliments, and guilt trips. They're masters of the "I'm not mad, but," and the "it's fine, I'll just do it myself" routines. Let's say you ask a friend for a favor and they respond with, "Oh sure, I guess I can do that. It's not like I have anything better to do." That's a classic example of passive-aggressive behavior. They're agreeing to your request, but not without making you feel guilty or like you're burdening them. Another common tactic is the backhanded compliment. For example, someone might say, "Wow, you look great for your age." On the surface it might sound like a compliment, but there's a subtle dig hidden beneath the surface, implying that you should be surprised to see someone your age looking good. Passive-aggressive behavior can be incredibly frustrating because it's often difficult to pinpoint. It's like trying to nail jelly to a wall. You know something's not right, but you can't quite put your finger on it. So, how do you deal with passive-aggressive people? First, recognize the behavior for what it is. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into their games. Second, call them out on it, but do it calmly and directly. For example, you could say, "I noticed you seemed a bit put out when I asked for your help. Is there something you'd like to talk about?" Finally, don't engage in passive-aggressive behavior yourself. It might be tempting to fight fire with fire, but it will only escalate the situation. Remember, the best way to disarm a manipulator is to stay calm, assertive, and direct. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. Stay aware and take control of your interactions. We've covered a lot of ground today, from emotional manipulation to gaslighting to passive-aggressive behavior. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about manipulation tactics, the better equipped you'll be to recognize and protect yourself from them. Don't be afraid to set boundaries, to speak your truth, and to walk away from relationships that are no longer serving you. You deserve to be treated with respect, not manipulation.